Hello, my name's Lizzie. I'm Anglican. In 4.5 months' time, I'm going to be joining a community of religious sisters as a postulant. I've been asking people what kind of videos they'd find useful, and a few people now have suggested that I make some kind of day in my life type videos, and they said that that might be useful for people understanding, like when I talk about how quite a few people have been saying that me becoming a sister seems a natural progression from my current life, it might help show why people feel that. But also, I'm hoping that it will show that also I'm just a normal or fairly normal person in my early 30s that goes to work, meets up with friends, goes to cafes, I don't know, all the kinds of things that people my age might do. Um, so yeah, I hope it feels a bit narcissistic, but I hope these videos are useful to people. I'm going to do a day in my life weekday version and then a weekend version, and hopefully they'll be helpful to a few people out there.
I will hold your people in my heart.
My day begins at 4:45 and I shower at night so that I've got less to do in the morning, and I'll just throw on some random clothes for now, and then I will make a cup of tea and just sit with that in silence for about 15 minutes, and I might read a page or two of a Christian book. At the moment it's Lent, so I'm reading a Lent book called Lent with St. Benedict, so just like the 1 or 2 pages it gives you for each day of Lent, and after my 15-minute silence, I'll have finished my cup of tea by then, and then I look up the gospel reading that we're going to have later on in the Eucharist, and I'll sit with that for another like 15 minutes or so, maybe particularly thinking about or praying with like a phrase within that passage, or imagining myself as one of the characters in the story. Then I have a few minutes just to throw some laundry in the machine, pack my bag for the day, and do like 10 minutes of these kind of exercises. And then I'll just listen to the news on the radio while I get dressed properly, and then sit down for morning prayer. And here, just before I start, I'm looking in my diary to see what I've got on that day, but also I write down in my diary things to remember to pray for on certain dates, like my friend's driving test, or on this particular day our Prime Minister was formally starting our country's Brexit process, so had that to pray for that morning. And here I am just finding the page for morning prayer in Lent, and then getting ready for opening my book that shows you what Bible passages to read. So here I'm praising God, reading Bible passages, praying for the day ahead and for my city and for other people. And for more about this kind of prayer, you can see another video I made recently called Praying at Set Times in the Day. So now it's about 6:30 and I'm leaving my flat, going down the stairs of my block of flats, and it's only about a 15-minute walk to work from where I live, which is very convenient. I seem to be being chased by this street cleaner thingy vehicle, just admiring the town hall fountain at this time in the morning. And then hey ho, it's into work we go. And my day starts off with about 2.5 hours of cleaning, and it's quite nice cleaning early morning because I can just clean in silence. I like silence, and I can just pray while I'm cleaning, so I can pray for the people that are going to be in these rooms that I'm cleaning later on in the day, or I might carry on thinking about that day's gospel passage while I clean, or sometimes I might just sort of think about a particular paragraph from a book I keep on my desk, or just like meditate on a particular Bible verse or something like that. And here is why I need to grow some muscles, because carrying hoovers up the stairs, requires muscles. So by now it's definitely time for some breakfast, so I keep some food in the fridge so I can just have breakfast at work. So here's me just sat in the office at work eating breakfast, and now it's on to my next job. So look, daylight and people, And now I go to my next job, which I can't video, but I can show you. A few hours a week I work as a sessional worker with adults with learning disabilities. So here are a couple of photos from my workplace's Facebook page and website. So they're in the public domain. And we put on different fun activities throughout the week, and the activities that I tend to help with are basic cooking, a drama group, a computer group, and a disco. So I'm often found on the dance floor trying to get people to join in the Macarena, and it's a job that I love. It's just a few hours a week, and Wednesday morning is one of the mornings I go in from like 9:30 till 12:30. I've now been at work for about 6 hours, and it's approaching 1 o'clock, which is time for the Eucharist in the middle of the day. So it's central in the day and central to the day, in my opinion. And here we are just sitting, waiting for the Eucharist to begin. I don't have time to go to the Eucharist and get back to work and eat lunch all in 1 hour, so I eat lunch while walking back to work, which is now street pastures for the rest of the afternoon. So there was me just checking on the cupboards, and I basically look like this for the next 2.5 hours or so. Just it looks like I'm not moving, but my hand is on the mouse moving it around, probably checking emails or something here. And this is my face of concentration, and I'm just doing all the sort of behind the scenes admin stuff that is connected with the smooth running of street pastors in our city. I finish work at 4:15 on a Wednesday, and then I just go next door into the library and I pick up their copy of the Church Times, and I just sit and flick through that and then do my usual after work routine of reading the news headlines and praying evening prayer. But today, because I'm not at home, I'm doing both of those things on my phone in the middle of the library. And now I am just waiting for my friend. Here he is. And yeah, on a Wednesday we meet up after work, we walk through town together to where he's going, and that's just our way of catching up each week. And here I am now walking home, and I've got about 45 minutes at home just to quickly cook something, eat and wash up before heading out again. I used to watch YouTube videos while cooking and eating and washing up, or I'd listen to sermons, or I'd listen to like a news program or something. But actually I think it's good to have silence at points in the day, and especially if I'm going to be out in the evening, it's nice to have just like half an hour or so of silence while I'm cooking and washing up, etc. So it gives a chance just to maybe look back over the day a bit, talk to God about how the day's been so far, and have some space to listen to God as well. Now back into the city centre for gospel choir practice, and I've only been singing in this choir for a few months, but it's a good challenge for me because I'm naturally a soprano that's used to reading music, whereas here I'm an alto and having to memorise my parts. So yeah, it's a good challenge for me. It's now about 8 o'clock and I'm walking back home, and as soon as I get home I just very quickly set out my stuff for the next morning and then put my prayer stall out for this evening. And I basically now pretty much every day of the week have exactly the same routine, where 8:15 I'll shower, get ready for bed and all that. Here's me drying my hair, trying to make myself look a bit less like Boris Johnson. And then 8:45 I'll spend 15 minutes doing what's called an examen, where you look back over the day with God. And then after the examen I then spend from 9 to 9:30 is my time for contemplative prayer, and this is what I'm looking at from my prayer stool. And yes, I'll spend half an hour like that, and then I set an alarm on my phone so that I'm not having to look at my clock during all of this time. I can just pray without worrying about what time it is, because I know that my alarm will go off when it is 9:30. And now it's just time to put my prayer stored away and get into bed. There's my clock. Yeah, it's gone 9:30, and I might just read a couple of pages of a Christian book in bed, and then any second now I'm going to turn my light out. There we go. And that is a weekday in my life.